Okay, I'm about to get way too into this. In tabletop RPGs like Dungeons and Dragons, and I'm going to talk about Dungeons and Dragons this whole time. Um, how do you how I'm going to give you some advice for like incorporating more cinematic style storytelling that adds personal stakes to the story and encourages players to actually follow and be invested in the story. So let's talk about that. Okay, so what do I mean by this? So you know, like, well, I mean, we have lots of examples of serialized storytelling with people with powers on TV. For example, let's talk about the DC CW shows momentarily, like the shows like Arrow and Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, Supergirl, Black Lightning. Right? That's those are the five on so far. So the characters on that show, they have allies, they have friends, they have villains, and these villains, um, all these people are like related. Like in the first season of Arrow, Oliver Queen was friends with Tommy Merlin, but was also, um, but Tommy Merlin's father, Malcolm Merlin, was the villain of the show. And then it turns out that Malcolm Merlin is the father to Thea Queen. So Oliver's sister. So this character wasn't just the villain, was also father to his sister. And there's just like this. I kind of call it like incestuousness that happens, which is when like there's more than one relationship between like the protagonist and the antagonist, or like between protagonists. Um, yeah, so you know what I'm saying. Like, there's just personal stakes. Like, it is. It is. This isn't just like that henchman. Isn't just some there isn't there there aren't it isn't just a group of henchmen. This group of henchmen uh, lived in the same martial arts school as one of the characters. This isn't the the mercenary that is going after somebody who you are assigned to protect turns out to be your long lost brother who was kidnapped by a cult of assassins who perform mind wipes after every mission so that the agents can't remember their targets in case they're ever captured. You know, it's just like it's there, like in the Marvel movies. Like Bucky, he was he was Steve's childhood friend, very close friends, and then they go to fight in the Second World War. They Steve winds up in the town where Bucky, winds up in the forward operating base of where Bucky happens to be stationed out of at the moment. And oh, lo and behold, Bucky's in trouble. It isn't just that there were a bunch of soldiers kidnapped. That wasn't enough. It's just that Bucky is also there. And then in Captain America: Winter Soldier, it isn't just that there is this um, secret ghost assassin over the last several decades with a metal arm going around sniping people. It's also Bucky, the guy who was your roommate and who you also served with, and your lifelong friend you thought we were dead was the absolute one and only link to your life in the 1940s. And then oh yeah, and then it turns out that one of those targets was actually Steve's parents. You know, Whoa, look at that! It's all connected. And then Steve is your best friend and your companion, who you, well, not maybe not your best friend, but certainly your companion for many years, fighting on the same side, who you at least grown some sense of mutual respect with over the last several years, and then you wind up on opposite sides of something ideological, and now one of you is the antagonist. So yeah, there's this connection that goes on. So like, yeah, you're players. So let's get into the actual D&D advice here. First off, your players are telling you what kind of game they want to play with the characters that they make. They are telling you what kind of a story they want to tell. They are telling you what kind of problems they expect to encounter, and then they are telling you what how they expect to solve those problems. Um, you know, uh, a you know a druid that focuses on buffing the party expects and also having like tons of utility spells expects that they're going to be hanging back, that their party's going to be doing most of the fighting, and that they're going to be in the back. A wizard who takes a conjuration wizard who takes a bunch of like like ice spells and illusion spells, basically Captain Cold, is telling you that they expect to be more of like a thieving wizard, and that they expect to be doing a lot of battlefield control, because that's what a lot of the ice spells do, and spells that simulate ice. I made this character. I made a Captain Cold type wizard, and has spells like alarm and detect magic, and has a weasel for a familiar, because weasels happen to be very good, like sneaky animals. What else did he have? I'm just doing this off the top of my head. Grease, grease up the floor. Um, had the one cold cantrip. Had oh yeah, because Captain Cold in the comics, they can do some create certain illusions, and also because conjuration wizards, so like all of a sudden, like all these conjurations that this character can create are ice conjurations. There was a lot of flavor involved in this character, but like a player, if I show up with my Captain Cold conjuration wizard to a table, I'm saying like I want to participate in a game that that is a heist game, a thieving game, something that is involves um, like because especially with spell lists like that, like you're not going to be, oh, you're not a conjuration wizard, you're not doing a lot of damage yourself. You're doing like a lot of stuff to like just like inhibit so you can get away um, if stuff goes wrong. So yeah, they're telling you what kind of game they expect to encounter. Like uh, a way of shadow monk is is telling you that they expect to be able to like hop between shadows, that they can use invisibility and darkness. Um, there's going to be a lot of stealth involved in the game. They're telling you all this with their characters. A rogue that takes a bunch of that is actually like focuses like completely on like thieving. So like they have a high wisdom score for their perception, and a high intelligence score for investigation, and they take expertise in their thieves tools. They're telling you they want to steal some stuff, right? They want to find traps and they want to steal stuff. So they create a character like that, and you don't provide opportunities for them to steal stuff. Their character is going to feel wasted. They're going to feel wasted, like um, like many of the characters in the movie Suicide Squad did. Yeah, that's a good example about. Let's just say Suicide Squad was a game of D&D, right? So you get this ragtag group of characters, a soldier and a hired and an expert marksman, and Harley. Look, Harley's a wonderful character for a lot of reasons, but right, why is she a good character to fight the Enchantress? Why are any of these characters suited at all? Like Diablo's the only one. Like Diablo, and maybe you can make a case for like Killer Croc, and maybe you do need a leader type character, so maybe you have Flag or Deadshot there. But like Harley is out of place. Katana, so disappointed in Katana because like she's a great character, and it's unfortunate that like on the third season of Arrow was a pretty bad season of Arrow. I mean, not I was gonna say bad. It was like yeah, okay. I mean, yeah, it was pretty bad. A lot of bad stuff about it, some good things about it, but Katana was there, and that was a good thing. And her character in that season, and also again with that incestuousness, Katana wasn't just some character there. Katana was this character that Oliver had known many years ago during the time that he was Argus agent in Hong Kong. So he already knew her from then, and so she had taught Oliver a lot of stuff. And then, um, so then when Keiko's husband was part of the League of Assassins, which Oliver knew already. So you see, like that's what I call like the incestuous relationship. Like this isn't just some stranger that they meet. Like this is somebody that these are people that Oliver already knew and who already had roles in the story. And then so like Katana's power set in Suicide Squad is that like she's this elite warrior, um, and sword master and has a sword that takes souls, but through she never uses a sword to take a soul in the movie, and she never also does the other thing that Flag says that she's there for, which is to protect. Katana is there to protect Flag from the rest of the Suicide Squad in case that they go bad. Like he says that when he introduces her, so she doesn't do either of those things. So yeah, it's just wasted opportunity. Wasted opportunity. I mean, so look, in D&D, there's a time and a place, and definitely this is the way that you should most of the time as a game master um, be creating your game. Just like allow the players to decide how they are going to use their skill set to overcome the challenges that you set for them. But there's also something to be said for you as a game master setting up challenges that you know they have the skills to overcome. Cater that. Like if a player comes to you with a character that is specialized in heists, do not do something that is completely not heist related. You know, like a heist character can get along well in a dungeon crawl. Any sort of like thieving situations. But so you know, it's there. The capacity is there. They can also do it for like protecting stuff as well. A heist character makes a good consultant for a traveling caravan, um, with the traps that they can set and many ways that they can stop people who are trying to sneak up on the caravan. It's there. It's possible. So like you don't have to just like cater it specifically, but like look at their character sheet, look at the spells that they have, the spells that they like to prepare. Um, Look at their backstories, look at the proficiencies that they have. Look, this is the thing that I do. I don't like. I actually I use the proficiencies as a basis for writing how I describe things, instead of having them constantly rolling to see if they know things. If somebody is proficient in the nature skill in my party, then I'm going to make sure that I describe the nature around you. When when if I have a character in my if one of my players one of my characters in my game one of the characters in my game has history trained, then when they're talking to some like nobleman, then you'd be like, oh, and you know that that nobleman's family like is such and such, and maybe four generations ago their ancestor fought in some amazing battle, and they're writing the coattails of that famousness. Like, just put it in there. Because you're a wizard, you would notice this right away. Like, you don't need to roll it. Like, just treat proficiency. Like, basically, this is what I'm saying. Treat proficiency more than just something you have to roll. Just add those tidbits in there. Um, somebody takes, look, somebody takes like cooking utensils. Somebody takes like cooking, craft cooking, whatever it is, right? Proficiency in cooking. Then as a game master, like just every time that you think there might be food somewhere, just describe that there's a smell of food. Like that player will go crazy because you just gave them something. Like that's something like their character knows about. Like if you create like a like an open hand like a like a monk with the urchin background, and they take craft cooking, and then yeah, then you as a game master like talk. They're walking down the street, talk about the street vendors, talk about the smells in the air. Like do that, just like give it to them, and then they'll realize, oh, like here's opportunities to use my skills and my proficiencies. So yeah, that's how I would say. In conclusion, like the the players are writers of the collective storytelling too, and so like they already have done some of the work in their backstories and the personalities, in their character sheets about what kind of story they want to play, and they've already written it up for you. So just like incorporate it, just there, just like give them personal stakes, and look at their character sheets and take their character sheets into account when they do the things when you're writing your encounters.